Whitney, you're on. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together tonight. Thank you for all the blessings you bestow on the city. Thank you for the much-needed rain that we've got. Thank you for the gifts you give each and every one of us to make this city successful. Please be with us tonight as we make the best decisions as we can for the city of Boonville. Amen.
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 Thank you, Whitney. Welcome, everybody. Roll call.
Minimal,
Here.
Turner,
Here.
Stock, Young,
Here.
Meadows, Cowherd.
Yep.
Hurt,
Here.
Carter. Pardon me, Albert.
Here.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Barry. Okay, hearing of citizen comments. If you're going to come up and you want to say a few things, that's fine. Remember to come up to the podium, state what ward you're from, and sign in on the sheet. And then you have 5 minutes to let us know what you want us to hear. Is that St. Matthew's Chapel?
St. Matthew's AME Chapel.
Ah.
Hello, everyone. I'm Reverend Bridget Mitchell, the pastor of St. Matthew's Chapel AME Church. I am from Ward 2, and I just have a really quick story to tell. I moved here 9 years ago, appointed by my bishop to be the pastor of this lovely 155-year-old church. In that 9 years that I have been here, Boonville has become my home away from Kansas City. I am a city girl, and so moving here was a little bit of an adjustment for me, but I have looked at this place as my home. Boonville is not perfect, but Boonville is good, and I like living here. And the 9 years that I've been here, our church has partnered with Hannah Cole and David Barton Schools to provide school supplies, hats, and scarves and gloves for children. On Locust, I happened to drive by and I heard from a couple of other members of a sign that's sitting in someone's yard that has such a nice expletive. And I'm concerned because I'm concerned about children. Children, if school were in session, they had to walk past that house. The expletive on that sign is horrible. Now, if you heard it come out of my mouth, you'd be like, are you sure you are a pastor? I would question that. But I think about the children that have to walk down that street to maybe across the street and then like 2 or 3 houses down, and there's a big sign saying what it says. I have pictures. I went by and took pictures, and this is my concern. Although I understand the right to free speech, as we all have, what I don't understand is the right of someone else to infringe on the rights of children. If our children were in school and they had to walk past that, we are asking them to look at that. Now, I don't know about you, I have grandchildren, so I know what it's like to send children to school and things of that nature, and I would not want them to look at language that I don't use in my own house. And so I know there's probably nothing that we can do about it. However, I just think Boonville is a lot better than this. Otherwise, I wouldn't have stayed for 9 years. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done. Anybody else? Okay. Approval of the minutes of the June 7, 2021 council meeting. Anybody have changes or corrections?
I think there may be, it looks to me like on the report of the advisory committee, looks like we've got Mike and Steve addressing the same department.
Should be street and alley board.
Good pickup. I'm now not acting solo, thanks to you. Thanks, Edward. Anybody else? All right, they will stand as submitted and corrected. Consent items, there are none. Presentation of accounts and claims on page 12.
Ordinance appropriating money, be it ordained by the council of the city of Boonville as follows. Section 1, for the purpose of paying salaries and various accounts against the city of Boonville, which have been allowed by the council at the regular meeting thereof on June 21st, 2021, the sum of $381,997.12. General Fund, $243,130.54. Sanitation, $32,756.31. CIP tax, $4,956.19. Waterworks, $31,180.39. Capital projects, $0.00. Wastewater, $46,478.24. Tourism, $12,741.09. Gaming, $1,831.28. Parks and Water, $3,615.90. Kemper sales tax, $4,143.54. Economic development projects, $1,163.64. Section 2, the accountant is hereby authorized and instructed to draw checks on the respective city bank accounts in favor of their persons whose salaries and accounts have been allowed as above, amounting to $381,997.12, being the total amount of money above appropriated. Section 3, this ordinance shall take effect and be enforced from and after its passage. First reading on June 21st, 2021. Read for the second time this June 21st, 2021, since a copy was made available prior to the meeting.
Second reading, title only.
Thank you,
Ordinance-
Whitney.
Ordinance appropriating money.
Mayor, I make a motion this be approved.
Thank you, Whitney. Any questions, comments?
We need a second.
We need a second.
A second.
Steve got it? Okay. Roll call.
Venable,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Cowherd.
Yes.
Hurt,
Yes.
Albert.
Yes.
Okay, there's no unfinished business. Under new business, we have discussion regarding 1101 Rural Street property.
All right, for those of you around the council table, you'll see this little handout. Included is the outline of 1101 Rural Street. If you drove by, the house isn't there anymore. We tore it down, so if you drove by and were wondering. And then we also put the minutes of it back in October 19th of 2020. The city has several, for new council people, the city has several residential lots in town that we've purchased over the years, either through a tax sale or they were given to us through a dangerous building process. One of those was 1101 Rural Street, and the last, okay. And then on the page, the very last section is an email that we got in October from Chiquita Hinkle, who was representing the Impact Activity Center, which is the group that took over CCBC and bought Sumner School. So for a multitude of reasons, just getting the property transferred it's just taken us a while to get here. So anyways, Doug and I finally got back together and we're like, all right, we're gonna get this stuff done. And while Doug was doing some of his research and doing some work, he noticed they amended some of their bylaws. So he just wanted to have a conversation with what they're doing. And then I guess we kind of want to make sure where council wants to go with the new information. So I'm going to turn it over for Doug. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask, obviously.
One of the things I noticed when I talked with Kate is that when the council took action back in October, there was, the minutes refer to it as a consensus. There was never a motion, and it was not passed by roll call. So I think in the event you still want to do this, that's one thing that's going to need to be done. There'll need to be some formal action taken. The second thing is in looking for information concerning how to title the deed to the property and how a conveyance should be made. I noticed something that hadn't been brought to my attention before. The initial articles of incorporation for the corporation, and the name of the corporation is Freedom in Christ Ministries, indicates that The Freedom in Christ Ministries is organized exclusively for charitable and community outreach purposes within the meaning of Section 501c3 of the Internal Revenue Service, and that's a tax-exempt reference to the Internal Revenue Code. That was the sole purpose of the corporation when it was initially organized. Sometime after that, and it came to my attention later, and I think it at least should be brought to the council's attention, the articles of incorporation were amended, and it was changed considerably so that it states the specific purposes for which the corporation is organized is to establish and oversee places of worship, teach and preach the gospel to all people, conduct evangelistic and humanitarian outreach, license, ordained ministers of the gospel, engage in activities necessary for this purpose, and the corporation is organized and operated exclusively for religious purposes within the meaning of 501c3. That is a significant difference in the purpose of the corporation. As all of you know, for some reason we seem to be talking about constitutional issues tonight. But there is a constitutional issue concerning separation of church and state. What has been contemplated here is a conveyance of property from the city, public entity, to a religious organization. It's not to say you can't do that. All I'm interested in is that that information is made available to the people on the council. You may get some feedback if you do this. I don't know that for a fact, but I don't think that information was made available at the time this was initially discussed. So I wanted to bring that to your attention, and I'd be glad to answer any questions that you might have about that.
Who's got questions?
I have one question.
Go, Albert.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Is it clear how Mrs. Hinkle's gonna use that property? Is that clear?
I've not had any personal conversations. I know Kate has talked with her. I think what I know is just based on information that Kate has indicated to me. So I'm not able to answer that question because I haven't had that conversation.
Yeah, back in October when we talked, it was I think it was much similar to the things that they were already doing at the CCBC when it was owned by the CCBC, and she had talked about future plans. I don't remember offhand what those were, but like a community garden. I think there was some conversation about more space for youth. It was primarily youth focused. I haven't gone back to Chiquita to have this conversation. If you guys want us to, we can bring her back. We just sort of thought, okay, this is maybe a significant enough change that we wanted to have a conversation first, and then we can go from here about finally finishing whatever. If we want to continue with the property transfer, or if you decide that's not what you want to do, I want to be able to report that to Mrs. Hinkle and what your decision was, so.
What's your thought, Albert?
What's that?
What's your
Well,
thought?
I wanna make sure I understand. You're saying you think we can go ahead with what's on right now, we make a motion and get it approved, that there could be some repercussion or no?
I'm not saying that there will or won't be repercussion. All I'm pointing out is that the purposes officially changed in the documents. I don't think that was known to the council at the time. It certainly wasn't known to me when Kate and I first talked about it. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I just think that's information that you need to know before you decide to go ahead with whatever decision you make. And there may be other ways to make that property available to Ms. Hinkle and her organization other than to convey the title to it. And if you want to talk about that, we can talk about that at a later time.
Wouldn't it be probably the best interest of all the citizens if you did almost like a sealed bid for it, so then if anybody that wanted it could look into it or to purchase it, and then that way we would not be picking where the land goes, what it goes for. It's available to the citizen. That way we get out
Well,
of any legalities.
Elmer?
I think we tried the sealed bid approach, I believe, and we didn't have much success with that. Is that correct?
That was on the list of properties, right,
Well,
Kate?
included,
I'm sorry, hang on one second. Hello?
You okay?
It was on the list of properties, but I think that we left out 1101 rule because of
What we had in motion.
this, yes, because of this.
Because if they put $1 and no one else wanted it, I mean.
Correct.
They would've got it,
Yep.
except that we weren't taking any bids that didn't equal
Yeah.
what the city had invested in them. And, I'm sure the city's got money invested in this one because they tore down the house, wouldn't they? Or
Adds
we
to-
tore
yeah, adds to it
tore
every
down
day,
the
every time
house.
we mow it.
Yeah, all right. Barry, you looked like you had a question.
I was just thinking about what the CCB did, because my grandbaby was on that gardening center, and CCBC put that garden center for the youth, and I just think that they should still be part of that, with the CCBC, with the New Life, Past Freedom of Christ Ministry. I think that should be a part of that also.
Yeah, that piece of ground
That
was
piece of
very
ground was-
successful when CCBC was,
Yes, I just think it's all be
Doing that.
left with them.
and that was strictly a youth garden, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
if we make a motion and it's approved, and we vote, I'm gonna make the motion that we go forward with selling the property to Ms. Hinkle for $1. And then maybe later on, we can pursue some of the other options that Doug is talking about. Is that acceptable? We go ahead and make the sale, approve the sale of the property for $1?
Does that preclude us doing anything in the future?
I think that would take the title to the property away from the city.
Right.
And it would vest it in someone else, so there wouldn't be any reason to do that with respect to that particular property.
Right. Okay, so that would be, once the property is transferred, it's theirs to do with it what they want to do. We don't have a vote on that anymore.
Okay.
Is that what you want to, that's what you want to do?
That's what I want to do, yes.
Okay, then you want to make your motion?
I move that we move forward with the proposal that's already on the table. I guess that's what we're saying here. Or either I move that we, again, sell the property for the $1 and transfer the title to Ms. Hinkle,
Okay, to the organization.
to the organization, yes.
Okay, do we have a second?
I
A
second that.
second.
Okay, I'm going to take Teresa this time.
Okay.
Okay. Any further questions or comments?
So with this, they will take ownership for $1 moving forward.
Yes, sir? Any other questions? Roll call.
Venable,
No.
Turner,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Coward,
Yes.
Hurt,
Yes.
Elbert,
Yes.
Right.
Motion carries.
All right, we will proceed then with doing the documents, and those documents, we'll bring those back for approval. So you guys will do that by ordinance.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Doug.
Reports of standing committees. P and Z.
Cancel.
Yep. Housing Authority, Barry?
Yes, I met with me at the Housing Urban Committee, Community Housing Authority, and Bob is doing a very good job. He's 100% occupancy. And Charles Green is up for re-election come 2025.
Is he?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, so.
Anything else, or any questions for Barry? Police Board, Teresa?
Yes, a very good meeting. The chief was very informative on everything. One of the officers has resigned, and one of the new cars was wrecked.
Was wrecked. Why couldn't it be one of the old ones, Bobby?
Well, it just didn't happen that way. And the notes and everything are in the pamphlet here.
Okay, thanks, Teresa.
You're welcome.
Report of city officials, city administrator.
All right, so continuing our conversation, Becky Karen is here. You have her pages, I'm sorry, forgive me for not knowing them. 18 and 19. So with that, I'm gonna turn it over.
Hi, I'm Becky Karen. I have worked with animal control for 6 years. I took over when Pam left in June. I have one part-time person that gets 28 hours a week, that works with me as well. We have had, just this year alone, we've had 47 animals in the shelter.
Obviously not all at the same time.
Huh?
Obviously not all at the same time.
Oh, no.
No.
There at one point, we were completely full.
What is your capacity?
We have technically we have 10 runs, but we leave one dog run open for the police department if they pick something up overnight. And then we have five runs, 6 runs for cats.
How many right now?
I have 5 cats in
Okay,
and 1 dog in.
1 dog.
We also do bite cases, running out large. Seems like a lot of animal cruelty cases here lately, we've been having to deal with. That's about it. Anybody have any questions for me?
That's good. Questions
I've
for
got,
Becky? Go.
I got just a couple of questions for you,
Sure.
Becky. We've had, and you probably aware of this, I'm sure you are, we've had some sightings of bears, and I think as close as Ashland. Now, if we were to have a sighting here, would that,
You don't want to look at it.
That's actually conservation.
you wouldn't be involved in getting out any type of communications on that?
Well, yeah, oh, yeah, I would help. Obviously, I would help try to get a hold of, the conservation agents that we have here. Be like, hey, we got a bear running. Come help. So,
But we do have something in place where the public would be aware that there's been a sighting. Is that fair?
I would think yes. I think that's perfectly fair. Absolutely. There's other things that I would really like to change, like no chickens in the city limits.
They are a problem for you?
We get a few, okay, more than a few, chicken calls.
Do we have chickens in the city limits of
Yes,
Boonville?
there is.
We do.
But in the ordinance, it's kind of contradicting itself.
I didn't hear you. What did you say?
The ordinance is kind of contradicting itself.
It's you can apply, it's actually one of the things I was gonna follow on, so, that I would like more clarity myself. You can get a chicken permit from me. That's what you have to do. In the time that I had worked here, the entire time, under Earl, the previous city administrator, there was 1 permit given. However, I know of many more than 1 chicken running around in town, so, I don't like being the chicken decision maker, so I would like for us to find some clarity, either yes or no, and if yes, here's the box, or no, because we seem to be getting an uptake in chicken permit requests. So I have, I think, 1 right now on my desk, and I got a couple in my email also.
So are you allowed to have roosters or just
No,
chickens?
no, just chickens.
Just chickens.
The 1 permit that was issued was for chickens only, and I think it was 5? I think we looked at it. I think it was 5 chickens.
So can you have roosters?
No.
Oh, no.
No. No roosters at all.
Well, I'm so sorry.
I would say most often the complaints about chickens are because there's a rooster.
That and they're running
Yes.
people's yards and the other people don't like that.
So are they supposed to be pinned in, or is there a certain thing they're supposed to have?
They're
with them?
supposed to,
Guidelines?
I mean, well, it says that you're not supposed to have chickens, but, yeah,
Unless you have a permit.
unless you have a permit.
You gotta give chicken permits.
And they make a lot of noise,
And then make a lot of
and they
noise.
disturb the peace.
Sounds like on the next agenda, there's gonna be an action item.
Well, I don't know if we're ready for an action item so much as just a discussion about chickens, and a direction, because it would be nice to have more clarity.
Do we agree that we want an action item?
Yes.
Let's have an action item, okay, Kate?
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Becky, in your note here, you mentioned this TNR, this
I was
trap
just getting
neuter.
ready to say
Okay,
something.
I'll let you discuss before I ask any questions.
Honestly, I would like to start TNR, which is trap, neuter, release, on these feral cats. It's going to cost us $69 to put one cat down versus probably $25 to get the cat fixed, their ear notched, and rabies. And then they would have to go back to the place where they were. In long run, say 5 years down the road, the population is gonna fall off because, one, they're gonna get old and pass away. I mean, I'm sorry, that's just, or two, something's gonna get them. So that's my whole look on it. And then we also do get people that call in and ask if they can have barn cats, if we could trap them some, and we would take them and get them fixed and let them have them.
Yeah, what,
What do we have to do? Yeah.
there you go, thank you.
Yeah.
We
Can't you
put
just do that, or?
Yeah, we put it in the budget this year, so that's just a change from what we've done before, where we've put feral cats down primarily. And
Yeah, we've always put them down.
so
okay.
we just haven't quite kicked it off.
But then that's what I'm trying to do, is to get rid of that part.
Okay, it's up to you.
It's budgeted for this year.
Good. Okay.
I was not aware how cheap it was to neuter and give shots to a cat versus put it down. Interesting.
Just $20. That sounds pretty cheap.
Versus 70 to euthanize? And then at the release point is always at the point of capture, correct?
Typically, yes. Not unless I have somebody wanting something for barn cats. Because we have a list that people would like. I had a guy call like a week ago wanting some barn cats. And I said, well, if we trap some, then obviously I'll give you a call. I'll take them to the vet that day, or the day after, get them fixed. And then I'll hold them for a day, and then you can take them.
I would just like to mention that Becky and I did talk a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So we had a complaint. Someone called me and I called her. So she got in touch with the person and did a nice job. So I appreciate that.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, we did get the cats trapped, so.
Yes.
Well
Very
said.
good. So we appreciate it. I know that it was at Hartman Village, I believe, correct?
Yes,
And they did appreciate that. So thanks for your work at that.
thank you.
Also, I would just encourage for anyone who hasn't had a chance to see the shelter that Becky is available, as would Jordan, to give tours. So we're happy to show it off.
Yes.
We're very proud of it, and the community should be proud of it, because everybody, through donations and hard work, helped make that shelter a reality. So that's one thing I think Becky and I have talked a lot, is that we want the shelter to be much more of a community place, a visible place, instead of something that we're trying to hide. So if you haven't gotten a chance, her number's there, and you should take a tour and see all the stuff that's going on there.
Yeah.
So
Are there opportunities for volunteers there? Do you need help?
Unfortunately, on the volunteers, we don't do it because if we go out on a call, you'd have to leave.
Oh, okay.
And then if I have a bite case, nobody can go back there where the dogs are. If,
Yeah,
I mean, if it was to pop the gate or something and you got bit.
okay.
And then the other thing is, Becky already kind of alluded to it with the chickens, but many years ago, we changed from a breed-specific ordinance to a vicious dog ordinance, and there were some things that either got left out or a little bit unclear, so I think Becky and I are working on a red line of the ordinance to try to bring it back, and then it'll go to Doug for his review. So at some point in time, I hope to bring the animal control section to you guys kind of for another update.
Update, yeah.
Which is, animal control is not the only one that needs that. Becky's just the one that's motivated to get it started, so.
Anything else, council? Thank you, Becky.
Thank you, guys.
Keep doing the good work.
Thank you.
I have one other thing. In case you have not noticed, if you would like to take a drive down on Spring and Morgan, we recently installed 3 crosswalks and a bike lane. We used a product called is that right? Thermoplastic. Anyways, it looks fantastic. We're hoping it will help our bicyclists maneuver the sort of ambiguity of that area as to which way the Katy Trail is. And then also I just want to say thank you to the Transportation Development District, because it is their funding that enabled us to do that. The Transportation Development District is a sales tax that is levied at the aisle, and it encompasses a much bigger area than just the aisle, but the revenue comes from them. We have a separate board that manages those funds and chooses projects. And so a couple years ago, they paid for all of the LED conversion on Main Street. That was another thing the TDD did. And now they've done these crosswalks. I think oftentimes people think that just the city does it, but I want the TDD to get the credit they deserve. So thanks to them.
Did our guys do that?
Ooh.
Okay. That's nice, that's nice.
I do have one more thing to
Yeah.
ask the council. It was brought up to my attention, because you know there's a 4-pet limit. And say somebody has a service animal and can prove that it's an actual service animal, will that be still considered as their 4-pet limit?
I don't know. We'll talk about it when we look at the ordinance.
Anything else?
Nope.
Okay. Got a couple of committee appointments, page 20 and 21. Charles Green on the Boonville Housing Authority that Barry mentioned, and Sonny Warren, Planning and Zoning Commission. May I have a motion to approve those two, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Whitney.
I'll second it.
Barry's got the second. Discussion? Roll call.
Venable,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Cowherd,
Yes.
Hurt,
Yes.
Albert.
Yes.
Economic Developer. Hi, Gigi.
I'll go over just a few things that I'm working on, but I will tell you there's many. I just wanted to touch base because everyone's asking about the community calendar. It's in the works. We've had some hiccups, but we're at the point where people have been interviewed and hired to get that going. I'm working on several projects and opportunities to bring jobs to the Boonville area. I'll just mention a few of those. Project DRIP is a company viewing one of our vacant buildings that is looking about 50 employees to bring in from out of state. I've been conversing with them for about a month. Project Kickstart, about 150 employees. I'm working with an entrepreneur who owns ground in Cooper County, and some of this ground's in the city limits. And with him, we have had several meetings with state officials and other university and other people of interest to get him kick-started. Also, because I am working in the county, I'm happy to report we've got a development of 103 acres in an industrial park being developed at Windsor Village, which will soon be a certified site, which is exciting for us as a community to grow because it will bring in more potential businesses. And I have already sent out that site through Missouri Partnership out of St. Louis on a referral that they gave me to send out. Next, I want to be transparent with you guys, and I'm going to go over some things that probably aren't a popularity topic, but it's housing. Something that's very important and that we need to discuss, and we have discussed for months. And let me make sure that some of you new council members understand that I work for a non-for-profit organization, that I'm working to grow both the city of Boonville and the county of Cooper and all the towns and or villages in that county. We need housing. I've come up here and talked till I'm blue in my face about housing. I'm grateful to Mayor Beach for holding out an olive branch to bring the Thurmans back to the table. I'm also grateful for Kate to thinking outside of the box on a creative solution to be a win-win for everyone in the county of Cooper and the city of Boonville. However, it's my understanding that the council had said no to these offered solutions. And there was no counteroffer brought up. We've known about this for now 4 years, that we have had a shortage of housing, and the answer was no, and no alternative solution that I'm aware of or have been brought to my attention, and no counteroffer. I will just tell you guys, incentives are given by communities to bring in jobs, to bring in parks, to bring in growth, to bring in stability, all over. They have, if you guys want a list, I'll give them to you. They cross my desk on a regular basis. Buffalo, Joplin, everybody, they just got new jobs, and every time I see incentives that were given out to bring those to their communities. Our soccer parks, we probably wouldn't have had without some creative thinking or incentives, and we're going to have those little boogers paid off by year 2023-24. And look what they've brought to this community, a lot. If we've got the Olympic Trial Committee, we've got tournaments out there, and I was listening to the radio, and one of the Cardinals announcers was in Boonville and watching his kiddo play soccer. So, and he said that on a St. Louis radio station. Countless new job growths and expansions are often related to incentives given by their communities. And not only is that like unique to cities to get growth, our farmers get incentives. I mean, whether to grow crop or grow a certain crop or not grow a certain crop, or, I mean, so don't just think this is just something that is unique to a community, because there are incentives, different packages out there all over to help growth, to help stability, to help progress. And let's move forward. I'm just looking at the no to the Fox Hollow development, and I think we lost focus of maybe of what is more important in giving an incentive for this project. But regardless of that, we only have 3 active homes listed in the area. Regardless of that, I think we lost focus that we should have been brought up in the city of Boonville has limited ground to expand. Where else can we expand? You know, you have a geographic outline of your of the city limits with limited space for expansion. the city could possibly be landlocked in and you're not going to be able to grow. This was kind of strategically placed between our airport and our golf course to grow. The city spent thousands of dollars to run an election to get the annexation out to 87 corridor. And here we had a creative solution to reach that goal, but yet we turned it down with a volunteer annexation with that housing development. And the focus should have been the need for housing to attract more businesses and business opportunities to the area. The city councils know, I'm just wondering if it's kind of put everyone in a weird spot and frankly, a predicament that appears may not have been viewed. And trust me, if you don't think I have loyalty to the city of Boonville and the county of Cooper, I do. But I just wonder if this was thought out without making a counter, without coming up with solutions. I'm currently continuing to work on the project to have 400 homes either in the county or in the village of Windsor. I'm in discussion right now. Because of the no, there are still some of the water easements to get water out to our golf course that were not signed, and now I'm being told they're gonna back out. So how are we gonna get that water out to our golf course now? I mean, I don't know what actions you're gonna have to take, but all I see is potential dollar signs. There's a discussion from a property owner and owners, I was told today, out on 87 about wanting to de-annex in order and to get out of the city. Again, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, dollar signs for the city. We're now spending what, I don't know if it was around 2 million, I don't remember the exact figure, to run water out that area so our golf course could have adequate water. And I'm not sure this lease of this golf course will pay for this infrastructure. And I just wonder if there's options for the city to maybe rent back water from the county, if that's something. And then again, I see dollar signs. I mean, what's the better alternative? Run $2 million to get it out there and only have one entity to get it to, possibly two, the airport, or to rent. I mean, that's your all's choice. My point is this is not a personality contest, and I know that I'm not being very popular right now with you guys. And this is more of a business decision. Whether you like the Thurmans or not is not the point. It is now the possibility for City of Boonville to potentially spend more money than was even offered for the creative solution to bring the community another amenity. Today, not tomorrow, I need housing to bring in businesses. I want you to be a part of the growth, but I have other options, and I want you guys to know that, and that is your decision. And I just wanted you to know you're being fairly addressed with what I have in front of me and the weird position that it has put maybe Kate, the mayor, in, I don't know. It's not the preference of myself or the Thurmans to grow one town or village over the other, but it's the will of you guys to make that choice. It's to not grow the city of Boonville, and if that's your choice, I will move forward. I just want to make sure that it's all laid out on the table, everything's transparent, so I can move forward. And it's not my choice, and I'm open to discussion with you guys.
So can we discuss? Are you through?
Yes, I'm finished.
So I thought it was
Okay.
the Thurmans that stopped the TIF process.
Not really. That was kind of the school board kind of said
But the city didn't.
it never really got.
So why didn't the Thurmans come back to us and offer something else?
For the TIF?
No,
For
for their Development.
They did.
They did.
So
I
are
thought
you saying
Kate was
that
offering.
Kate came up with a solution? They met with us, and I offered that solution to them to bring them back to the table. And they said, okay, that sounds something we would be willing to do.
Well, why didn't the Thurmans come to us with an offer? They did?
With what offer?
Any offer.
You guys had that offered in front of you, correct?
That was from Kate. I mean, they're the ones that, the TIF just went away.
Right.
So if they had some, I mean, it seems like we should.
So you know what, Steve? This is exactly what I'm coming across in a lot of things, just miscommunication, lack of communication, or misunderstanding. So if there is a possibility that this is an option, let's come back to the table and let's do it, because I am in need of housing.
Okay,
And
the TIF was their idea.
that is
from
correct.
My understanding.
What-
So
what-
if that didn't
what is-
work-
What's he missing?
Why didn't they come back with another idea?
So we did.
We
ran
did.
into
She
what we've
did.
considered legal issues with some of the ways that we were going to do that. We presented those. You were here, I believe.
Kate presented ideas, not the Thurmans.
That's where they came from, Steve.
They came from,
They came from discussions with the
Thurmans.
Thurmans.
okay.
That's where that was the origination. And Gigi, myself, Kate,
Okay, I thought we
Whitney.
were doing the offering.
met
So-
with them.
I might be thinking about this a little backwards and a little different than the rest of the world is doing it right now, but I think about where places are thriving and where businesses are going, and that's places with lower regulation and lower taxes. So if we could maybe get to quit incentivizing certain specific people and certain projects, focus on what the city needs to take care of with police, fire, and stuff like that, and lower our taxes, I think that would incentivize all businesses and all of our residents to do business here. I think that it's not a short-term thing, but I think long-term that could be very impactful to the growth of this whole area.
That's your opinion, and that's great. I mean, everybody has a different opinion, and Whitney, I totally respect your opinion. I don't probably agree with it based on the information I've received, but, you know, it's a thought. How low are these taxes need to be to get development here? We've been here how long and not offering incentives for growth? And how have we grown in 50 years? No, we haven't. Yeah.
Can you help me with this? We've got a housing development going on out here on Ashley Road,
That is correct.
and they're not asking for the same thing. I
No.
mean, so why, you talk about these different incentives, and frankly, I would like to see what some of them are, but
Okay.
it seems to me like either you have the backing and finance to do a housing development or you don't. And we're certainly in support. I think everybody up here is in support of growth. I think we all want that. It's just a matter of how we go about doing it, what it costs the city and the residents of this town to get that kind of growth.
Well, and I guess sorry, Charlie. I was just gonna add, or I have a question or comment or a question may come out of my comment. So I'm relatively new to this discussion, but I know it's been going on for some time. I am a little curious. We talk about the 300 to 400 homes. That was over a 12 to 15-year time period. I guess I'm confused as what is stopping them from doing 50 homes this year and getting them in the market? If the market's so low, if they build 50 homes, wouldn't they, in theory, probably sell pretty fast? I guess I'm curious,
Well, you know.
why
what,
is it all or nothing is my question. We have support us or we do nothing, don't support us, and what? I
No,
guess
no,
I'm
no,
confused by that.
it's either the county
What do you mean? Why
Well,
is it different?
just
It's gotta be
what's the
lower than
difference?
Columbia, right?
Yeah, what?
The cost has gotta be
Well,
much
you
lower.
still have the same cost
the
of
risk?
concrete and everything
course,
there,
absolutely.
right?
Uh-huh.
So you're saying the land cost is lower, possibly. I don't know what they pay for that
I mean,
land.
labor could be lower. I don't know.
I don't think labor's lower.
So,
Permits, inspections are all lower.
Yeah, but that doesn't make up still for the difference of the total cost. They're just saying, this council has been in on the cost estimate of the upfront cost. I can share that with you, so you can see, if you want to see the numbers, I will show them to you. But no one would come. We have a local guy that's willing to come if he can get that startup going. And
I guess for me, I still have a disconnect of, it's either the city does something for us and we do nothing, or that's it. I'm just so confused.
well, give me another option. What do you got?
I'm just saying, so this subdivision out here on Ashley Road's a great example where they're going full bore, right? They're going, and they're developing it, because I think that they might know, the sooner we get this thing done, the faster we can strike on this high demand market.
Right.
I just don't understand why it's so different out.
Because you're looking, I had a guy call me, a local businessman, and the only way I can tell you is how he related it to me. And he says, yeah, we can afford a lot of Casey's, but we can't afford a Walmart. And we've got a lot of little subdivisions that we've started. We've got Legends West, which my brother has, and he's got, I think there's 4 foundations under individual people going out there and doing it, but no big developer other than the one in Ashley Road that's going to bring us 60 homes. But that's not going to be enough now that we're this far behind.
Gigi, I was wondering, why don't you ask Thurman to come in and give a presentation to the council?
They did.
They already did that?
Yeah.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
next thing, Gigi, we started with the TIF, and my calculations was gonna be about 11.5 million that they were asking for over 20-some years. We come back to the next portion, the next meeting, and we're looking at $1.5 million park to buy to help with infrastructure. So we started off needing 11.5 million. And then all of a sudden, we just need $1,500,000.
Yeah, but if
And
you
then we
don't,
can still make this work. It's kind of like, it's a
well,
pretty big spread in business for
but,
me.
okay, so, but that TIF is based on a performance. There's no guarantee he's going to get that 11.5, right? I mean, the TIF works a little bit different than getting this money up front. So if he knew he had this to start with, I mean, the TIF, if rates start going up, things start happening, he may not get any of that, but he's still going to have that upfront cost, Whitney, and that's where we're needing to get the project going. So, any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Gigi.
Thanks, Gigi.
City Clerk?
I just wanted to remind the council that the next regular council meeting will be held on Tuesday, July the 6th, due to the Independence Day holiday. So we will see you on Tuesday, July 6th.
Any oops,
Yeah,
Teresa.
I got a question. Back to what Pastor Bridget was talking about at the house
I
on
didn't
Locust.
get to speak up.
Back on what Pastor Bridget was talking about
Okay.
with the house on Locust Street. Is there a way that in the future, like Doug Obley was saying, that we can have a provision put in where all political signs and stuff have to come down after 30 days of the election of that office.
That's already in
That's already in.
ordinance. I think there's a question as to whether those particular signs are considered political because there's not a date. It's just a sign. So if it said, you know, if you said
21,
vote for
2020.
mayor, vote for John Smith on May 7th, 2021, then that has a date. But if it just says, I love Mayor John Smith, that's
Okay, I'm
not,
getting
I
all
assume that's not a.
confused. Because you said you couldn't, because of the name was a political party, then it's okay to have it up there. But if I put something in my yard that said something about the person on Locust Street at that address, and put that word in front of it, it's not okay. I don't want to say the words and all that, because I think it's horrible.
I think if you'll read the information that I sent to you, it
Yeah.
might be
I haven't had a chance
clear
to
to
read
you.
it.
And there's a lot of information in those packets, and everybody got a packet. But the bottom line is, political speech of that nature is constitutionally allowed by the United States Supreme Court. And if you do different things, you could give me other examples that may differ some from what that one is, and I might have a different answer or opinion about it. But that particular one, I believe is constitutionally protected. And I think, in fact, I saw some emails that Teresa had solicited from other cities, and this is not a problem that's unique to Boonville. It's around the state, and everybody has gotten the same legal opinion about that particular issue.
Gotcha.
I don't really think the politics of it is really the issue, at least in my mind.
It's
And
the
whether
word,
it's
the
legal
first word.
or not legal, I don't think it's the issue. I think it comes down to me, do we as a citizen of this community, do we want to stand for that kind of foul language spread throughout the town? It seems to me like maybe we can't take any action legally, but I think we can take a stand that we don't condone that type of language in this town.
Especially in front of the school.
So, yeah, I just drove by it today. I was like, is that thing still going on? Yes, it is. It is so frustrating to see that where it is in our town. However, so I completely disagree with it. And I don't even want to say but, because I don't want to, because I do disagree with it. I have a feeling of, this is just my opinion, providing resistance to that type of individual could grow the muscle, so to speak. And that's what really concerns, like this, it's like, as much as we all may hate it, turn a blind eye, ignore it, walk away from it, because if we start doing things, giving them attention, it's probably what they're looking for. So then it might be a 10-foot banner, and then it might be a 50-foot banner. I mean, I don't know. It just, to me, I'm with you. I disagree with it. I think it's repugnant.
Well, I think saying nothing is almost like condoning it. If you see something that you think is not quite right, you should say something.
We're saying it right now.
We need to say it to persons involved. There's nothing coming from this body about it. And I guess I don't see what's wrong with sending, and maybe Doug, you can speak to, what's wrong with sending a letter to this individual? I don't know who he is. I don't know anything about him. But I said, what's wrong with sending a letter and not necessarily requesting, but suggesting to him that that's not what we want to do in this community. It doesn't
All of you
stand
can
well.
express your opinion to him personally. My point is that from a legal standpoint, you can't take action as a city council
As a city.
that would prohibit politically objected speech.
You're saying that we can't ask him to take it down. Is
You
that
can
what-
ask him to take it down.
No more than two of us. Two of us can say it. Brittany.
I know we're focused on this because it's in front of the school, and I think it's terrible
Yes.
as well, but I also hear those words from vehicles going by my house. at all times of the day and night, you know, I mean, just, you hear those words and even worse, coming out of the music these kids are listening to or turned up loud. So where does this start and where does it stop on how we enforce that?
Well, I'm repeating myself. I think if
The
you
fact
say
that it's in
nothing,
front of the
then
school.
But
in my mind, that's when it really, you say nothing and it continues and it grows, it gets more growth and
Right.
so forth and so
Right.
on.
it can get bigger and bigger and bigger if we say nothing, you know what I mean? And what are we telling our kids, that it's okay to walk down the street and say the F word, every other word? You know what I mean? It's okay? You know what I mean? Cuss a parent out in the middle of Main Street and say it's okay?
Somebody made the point, and I think it was a good one, where I think, Doug, and you didn't correct me here, I think we have state laws and federal laws that disallow a pedophile living within so many distance of a local school. So why is that binding? And anybody can put up any kind of foul language that they want to, and that's okay. We can't, the two just don't register with me.
Correct.
They're just legally different things. They're completely different. One is speech, one is ability of the state to direct where people might live with respect to schools or other things. And it's just not the same issue.
I mean, why couldn't that be considered as hate speech? You know what I mean?
Correct.
Well, if you're asking me about that specific flag that is flying, it's because the United States Supreme Court has said it's politically protected speech. It's that simple. And you'll see in the materials that I've given you where it uses, there are other places where that exact language is used and the Supreme Court has said, hey, that's free speech.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I believe he was asked to take it down. He was visited, I think, politely.
We talked to him a couple times. He took it down, he put it right back up.
So,
Just from my opinion, you're just giving him ammunition. That's what you're doing right now.
yeah.
He's not gonna change his mind. He's not gonna listen to reason. So you're better off just to try to ignore it, go on, be done with it, because legally, we can't do anything with that guy. Nothing. So it's bad, but it's legal, unfortunately.
Well, that's unfortunate.
It is sad. It really is.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.